What's up, y'all? I hope that my audio is better than last time. I think I fixed it, but I won't know until I start editing this video, so fingers crossed. We're gonna go over this video. For those of you who don't know, this is Mexican Homie. He is a huge awareness page over on TikTok, very respected, always comes with receipts, and in this video, he has Gabby's new book. So I figured that we would go over that. Uh, Now, I don't think it's the whole book, and he does read a good chunk of it. So let's get into this book.
Gabby, tell me if this sounds familiar. And I know everybody's screen recording. Gabby, does this sound familiar? Raised by love, broken by bullies, justice at last. How I beat the bullies in court. Does that sound familiar, Gabby?
You know what the sad part is about this? Is she probably actually believes that. She probably actually, think about it. This is the first time that she has something be accepted by the court. She got that RO on Feisty. And even though it was a temp restraining order, from what I heard is that in Florida, basically anytime you go and get an RO, they push it through. Just temporarily, they pushed it through. So for her, that's a win. She probably really thinks she did something here.
Huh? Justice at last, how I beat the bullies in court. Tell me, does that sound familiar? Chapter 1, taken. Chapter 1, taken. Listen up, Gabby. I just promised myself in the world that I would never stop fighting. I didn't realize how quickly that promise would be tested. The very next chapter of my life began on September 29th, 2025, when CPS texted me. Does that sound familiar?
So I have a question for anybody who is a caseworker, works with CPS. Listen, I'm not saying that CPS can never text you. I know that Gabby does text her caseworker. However, when it's something serious, like maybe them going up to the school to take your child out, you would think that that would, maybe warrant a phone call. I mean, that's what I would think, right?
Does it? Huh? I told you, exploiting that little boy Cameron was going to come to a stop. Didn't I tell you exploiting that little boy was going to come to a stop? I have your book. Or the pamphlet. I have your second pamphlet that you planned on releasing. Why did you put Feisty's name in there? Why did you put Feisty's name in this so-called second book or pamphlet that you were going to release? You put Brownie's name also in that pamphlet.
On what page? Tell us what page.
Give me 1 second. I'll grab it up. Give me 1 second.
And for everybody who doesn't know, the book that she released just a little while ago, that book was not the original book. I have the original book, and it did have Feisty's name in it. And I know that a lot of people thought that she was rage baiting, saying that she doesn't care, she was going to put the names in it, and then the book came out and it didn't happen. But she did. She had another book. So whoever, I'm assuming maybe her editors, told her she can't do that, and she ended up taking their names out. Ain't that right, Gabby?
She even put Brownie's name in that. What do you think? You really thought we were going to sit here and let you exploit that little boy any further? Not on our watch. Not on our watch. Listen to this. Listen to this. So in this pamphlet, this new one, Gabby states, so I started speaking out. I told the truth about what was happening, even when my voice shook. I shared screenshots, timelines, and
Timelines.
evidence. Once again, Gabby states, I shared screenshots, timelines, and evidence. Not for drama,
Oh,
not for attention, but to show people how easily a mother who loved her son could be turned into a villain by lies.
wow. First of all, oh my gosh. First of all, the fact that you have to say not for drama, not for attention. Why would you even need to say that? That's weird, right? Is that weird to anybody else? That you would have to Okay. But Gabby, all we do is repost your lives. We go over your own words. Post what you say. So what lies exactly? There's a lot of opinions. And you know what? You did share a ton of screenshots, but that's not evidence. That's not evidence. You don't know what evidence is. Not only that, what timeline? Do you even know what a timeline is? Because I have never seen you go over any type of timeline whatsoever.
She admits in this new pamphlet that she shared evidence. You know when you're sending medical records out and everything else? How could you self-incriminate yourself?
Well,
But I can't expect anything less from you. You self-incriminate. Good thing I have, you hear this? You hear this, Gabby? I got it printed out.
and here's the thing. Obviously, somebody sent this out, right? Sent it to everybody. And the thing is I don't know if this is intentional that she does this or if she's just really and I know this is going to sound mean. If she's just really not that smart, which we know she has a 61. So, I mean, I guess that answers that question. However, she has to know by now that anything she sends to anybody is going to be sent to one of us. She has to know that. So, what is the goal here? What is the goal? Is it to make us look bad? Like, look, they're going to share my stuff. Or does she really think that she has something here? Does she really think that all of those records that she shows of C's, of hers, prove something? I mean, look, she's that delusional. So she probably thinks she is doing something.
Print it out. You won't be able to erase it. Let me read another excerpt from her pamphlet. By late afternoon, a small piece of good news finally came through. I qualified for assistance because of my income level. They set me up for a call with an attorney on September 26th at 10 a.m. to go over the case and see how they could represent me. What? So when you scammed all those people out of money, when you filed that bogus, fraudulent, frivolous lawsuit against Feisty,
wow,
and you collected all that money, you already had qualified.
Wait a second. Hold on a second. What do we always say? She ends up telling on herself every time. I thought Kaylee got that lawyer for you. Because Kaylee is standing 10 toes down that she's the one that got that lawyer. She's the one that paid that lawyer. That she has the receipts from that lawyer. So what happened, Gabby? Did you get assistance for a lawyer? And if you did, then where did all that money go? That's strange. So you were getting donations while knowing that you were applying for this assistance, but you're not a scammer though, right? No, of course not.
For an attorney, you already had qualified because of your income levels.
That's fucked up.
But yet, you scammed all those people out of money.
See, you want to know what's funny is that I think a lot of people think that Gabby is really dumb. And even though she is not very educated at life or a lot of things, she is not stupid. For her to do all these scams, to come up with all these skits, she knows what she's doing. Absolutely. And I don't know if she learned that from Mimi or who, but she knows how to cut corners. She does it all the time. And to be honest with you, she probably thinks that that's okay because she's been doing it her whole life. But as we see, it got you here, Gabby.
Really? That's wild.
Super wild.
Let's read another excerpt from her book.
All right, I have to.
Gabby puts in there, the lawyer had also mentioned another option, something called ACT, an organization that assigns attorneys for injunction hearings. I'd already called them and learned there were 2 attorneys without court that day who might be available. The plan was simple. On the hearing date, I'd meet with one of them for 45 minutes, and if everything lined up, they would represent me.
Wow.
Really?
Really?
You qualify for an attorney because based on your income level, you went to scam people for a bunch of money, knowing that you would have representation on that frivolous lawsuit against Feisty, and you think you're going to get away with that?
And what's crazy is that she wants everybody to just move on. Bitch, it's hard out here. People are fucking struggling and they hear that somebody is being bullied. They're being bullied, stalked, and harassed. And she tells a stop story and she's showing these screenshots. And for people who are just scrolling in that don't know the story, don't know who she is, can fall for that. Do you know how many people I have talked to who she has came up on their FYP because so many people are in her fucking live? That's why we made that's why Villain made the fearless accounts. So that way, people are not in her lives. So that way, she's not pushed out to the masses. And all these people stroll in, listen to her story, and they fall for it. And then any other awareness pages that comes up, they don't pay no attention to it because we're the bullies, right? She has fooled a lot more people than we think.
Do you really think that we're going to let you get away with this nonsense? It was for the court hearing, that frivolous lawsuit that she filed on Feisty. I read the whole pamphlet already. She also put in there, so Gabby also put in this pamphlet, she goes, she promoted my diamond art and told viewers that if they donated $50 toward my legal fund, they could choose any topic for her to discuss. It started small, but soon the chat wanted to talk about Feisty.
Oh, that is such a fucking lie.
Not only me, but other people too.
That's a fucking lie. Like, you do know we can go back and watch this whole thing play out. It wasn't the chat that wanted to talk about Feisty. The only reason why Kayla even knows who any of us are is because we all came to her when she was going over all this Gabby stuff, which, mind you, for a whole what? A week, 2 weeks? She was saying all the things that we were saying. How this is everybody's opinions. Her behavior is not acceptable and all the other fucking things. And then flipped. She talked to Feisty. She talked to Villain. She talked to many of us who were in her boxes, all of that. So now, Kaylee targeted Feisty. And now we're here. It wasn't the fucking chat, Gabby.
Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? So chapter 1 is called Taken. Chapter 2 is called the shelter hearing. Chapter 3 is the judge's ruling. Let me read to you chapter 3. Chapter 3 goes, the courtroom air felt heavy, like it was pressing down on my chest. Every word spoken seemed to echo louder than it should have. CPS laid out their side, twisting little details into something dark. They spoke about...
First of all, does that sound like Gabby? Does it sound like how she writes, how she thinks? No, absolutely not. Gabby, we have seen your post before ChatGPT. Your brain doesn't work like this. Listen. There is no way that your brain is that clever like this. We know it's not. And that's not being mean. It just is. It just is. I'm not a good writer. I couldn't write a book. I'm not slick with words like that. And it's clear that you probably gave ChatGPT a sentence or a storyline and they wrote this. That's not an author, Gabby. Not even close.
Concerns and safety, but never once mentioned how Cameron laughed at home or how tightly he clung to me when he was scared.
Of course, Gabby, he's your son. You're all he knows. You and Aaron and Coco. Your son doesn't even go to family houses. You don't have family over. There was nobody else around but Karen. I couldn't imagine. We have a huge close family. My son is always at my mom's, one of my sister's houses, his tias, all of them. I couldn't imagine. And you do that on purpose. So yes, of course he clings to you. You're his mother. What does that prove? What does that prove, Gabby? You do know that stories with kids who are badly abused, they still run to their abuser.
You sound like a stranger to my own child. But all of their allegations were false, and I had the proof to show it. My lawyer wasted no time tearing their story apart. She asked them the simplest question again and again. Why was this child removed? Her voice cut through the courtroom like a knife. If that bruise hadn't been there, would we even be here today? CPS had no real answer. Every time my lawyer...
First of all, that's not... That bruise was mentioned. It was. The caseworker asked Gabby about that bruise. But the whole reason why they were in court wasn't for that. It was because the teacher seen very inappropriate behavior from C. And as a mandated reporter, she reported it. That's why this happened. It's funny, though, that you don't mention that, though, Gabby, huh? We've all seen the text messages. We all know about it. But you seem to just, erase that from existence, huh?
Press them, they stumbled. The responses were either, I don't know, I'm not sure, I don't recall.
That's bullshit. We've all seen the paperwork. The list of things. They were very clear on everything that they seen, all of the concerns that they had. You can pull it up right now. It's floating around everywhere. So for you to sit here and say that, oh, I don't know, are you kidding me? They had answers for everything, Gabby. You're trying to turn this around like CPS is going after you. So what? Now CPS are the bullies? Is that what it is? It's funny how that happens to you. Every single person in your life, all of them are bullies, stalking, harasser, making you look like a liar, making you look like a bad mom. The fuck out of here.
By one, the lies crumbled. They claimed I had never shown them Cameron's paperwork for his diagnosis.
You haven't.
But I had the screenshots, text messages between me and Lindsay, the caseworker, where I sent the documents and she replied with, "Thank you."
That's a lie. Show those messages, Gabby. Show them. Because you haven't provided nothing to them. They've been asking you for the diagnosis. You haven't given it to them. Why don't you give them what you showed us? Why don't you do that? I mean, you so freely post it on the internet and send it to everybody else. So why couldn't you give that to them? Because you know you're a fucking liar.
I pulled them up and showed the truth. Gabby, you never show the truth. Then came the accusation about the dogs.
Wait, so you just pulled it up in court? You took out your phone and pulled it up and said, "See, here, judge, it's right here." You know how that's not how that works, right? You know that? Apparently not.
Excuse me. They tried to twist the story, saying the dogs snapped at Cameron while I was supervising. But the truth was the opposite.
Wow.
That day, I had to take a rug test, and I asked Lindsay and Ella to watch Cameron and the dog while I was gone.
You're trying to blame this on the caseworkers? Is that what you're doing? You're the one who said that Coco gave that bruise to C. That came from you. And now you're trying to make it look like that what? The caseworkers weren't paying attention to your son? That's why they're there. This is so ridiculous to me.
Wasn't even there when they claimed it happened. When I explained this in court, they had no answer. I reminded the court that
Hold on a second. And I just thought about this. So wait a second. Can you answer me this, Gabby? You said you had to take a drug test, right? So did you call them to babysit? I'm confused. Or what? Because if you had to go take a drug test, then that means that you had to leave the house and go to a place to take that. They don't bring the test to you. That's not how that works. You have to go to an actual facility to go take that test. So did you call them to babysit? Or did you wait for your visitation day? No, that wouldn't make sense neither, because that is random. It's a random drug test. So this doesn't make sense. This was your drop day on, just happened to be on a day and time when they came to visit you, and then you asked them to babysit? You need to have more details here, because this doesn't make sense, which, if it doesn't make sense, most likely it's a lie.
Cameras around the house, front, back, and sides, and even a door alarm. We had extra locks on the garage and front door, and a block on the sliding doors so Cameron couldn't slip out. Everything was done to keep him safe, but CPS never mentioned those protections.
You didn't get those cameras until after court, ma'am. You are such a fucking lot. This is crazy to me. It is crazy that you can sit here and tell all of these lies when we can pull up all of the videos. You didn't put those cameras in until after the court date, which is funny, huh? Did CPS make you get those cameras, Gabby? I'm just wondering. Because it's kind of strange how now you have all these cameras. You've never had locks on those doors. You've never had any security for those doors. C could unlock and open that door anytime. And you know that. But it's funny how you have to make up these lies to make it look like you're a good parent. How about actually just being a good parent? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not that hard. But you would have to stop thinking of yourself and putting yourself first. So maybe start there.
They painted a picture that wasn't reality. The hardest part was knowing Cameron had been questioned alone at CPT for nearly 5 hours. 5 hours for a simple bruise. My son, who is autistic, sat in the room without me, without Aaron, without a lawyer, without his grandma. I couldn't help but wonder how many questions did they ask him.
Oh, yeah, but that.
Did they twist his words like they twisted mine?
No, because they're professionals. See, the thing is, Gabby, is the place where your son went, one, was not just for that bruise. You know what it was for. You know and it's so crazy that you don't mention it. You don't mention that hot dog or that he was at school. You don't mention any of that. The bruise came along while they were questioning him. So that's fucking weird. But aside from that, these people do not know you, Gabby. They don't know you. They don't know that you're on TikTok. They don't know. The people that interviewed C, they don't have a dog in the fight at all. CPS always go for reunification. They want to keep the child in the home. So all of this that you're saying doesn't make sense. You've already got pass after pass after pass. But now what? You want to go after CPS? That you're fighting a losing battle with that, Gabby. CPS fucks up all the time. They don't need your help to try to make them look worse. And to be honest with you, I think they're failing this situation. And still, you're trying to make them sound bad. They have done favors after favor for you, letting this go on as long as it's been. And you're just throwing it in their face. Keep doing that. See how far it gets you.
They twisted your words, Gabby? You put in this pamphlet that they twisted your words?
Right.
Wow. Even sitting in court, I wanted to get the transcripts to see what had really happened in that room. Still, my lawyer stood strong. She kept pulling at the threads until the CPS story fell apart. Every accusation had an answer, and every answer I gave was backed by proof. When the judge finally looked up, his words carried the weight of everything we had endured. There are no findings of abuse or neglect. This court does not see grounds to keep Cameron from his parents. The motion for shelter is dismissed. Ha!
Now, sadly, we don't know what was said in that courtroom, and this is why she can say those things. We won't know. He's a minor. She's a minor, so we won't know exactly what was said or what was done in that courtroom. If they would have found nothing, the case would be closed, dismissed, and they would not be in your life anymore.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Relief rushed through me so fast, and I thought my legs would give out. I felt Aaron squeeze my hand, his grip tight, his eyes wet. For the first time in days, I could breathe again. But even...
And you know what, Aaron? You would think that this is a wake-up call for you. You would think being on the verge of losing your son would spark something in you where you'd be like, damn, this has gotten serious. But no. I have no words for Aaron. None. I do not think he is a man or a father. Both of these parents are selfish. He cares about Gabby more than he cares about his own son.
In that victory, there was no celebration. CPS has shown me just how quickly they could twist a phone call into a case file. Just how easily my son could be taken without warning. And just how fragile the truth felt in a system that didn't always care about it. Walking out that courthouse, I held my head high, but inside, I was shaking.
Damn, Gabby, you would think, knowing all of that you would straighten up. That you wouldn't be trying to make CPS look like they're the problem. Because, couldn't be that you're a shitty parent. Couldn't be. Couldn't be that you're completely narcissistic and only think about yourself, right? Nah, of course not. It's CPS's problem. It's the internet's problem. It's Danny's fault. It's Karen's fault. It's Aaron's fault. It's everybody's fucking fault but yours. Patterns. That's your pattern. Blame everybody else. Make yourself look like a victim. You've been doing that, it sounds like, your whole fucking life. That's weird.
Won that battle, but I knew the war wasn't over. If TikTok could take us this far, they could try again.
Get the fuck out of here.
I knew they would.
TikTok get oh my gosh. If TikTok can take it this far, Gabby, it is like astounding that you think that we have that much power. That we have so much power over an agency like CPS that us could make them open a CPS case and take your son. You gotta be fucking kidding me. The sad part is you're not. Could not be that you just couldn't get off the internet. Couldn't keep your son off the internet. Could not stop showing your shitty behavior. Your shitty parenting, right? I mean, I guess what else are you gonna do, right?
That's chapter 3. In this entire pamphlet, after reading it, after I read this entire pamphlet, Gabby threw so many lies in this pamphlet, I was going to throw it out the window. I was really going to throw this pamphlet out the window. Because the amount of lies was ridiculous.
You ain't lying.
Hey, Feisty. Hey, Feisty, did you request a box?
I just feel like I did. I just feel like since you brought this up, that I've been kind of just sitting. How the hell do you find it? I've been kind of just sitting, doing my own little thing. I've had a copy of this book too. Can I have a big box for just a second?
Let me.
Since you mentioned it, homie.
There
Since you brought it up, right?
Oh, I'll take all the heat for this.
I'm just curious if y'all see that right down there. I received the same book. I have not said a word. If you
Oh,
look there where it says original message, can you please explain to me why Crash Out PI is circulating Gabby's
oh
book?
shit.
I'm just asking for a friend. This email
What?
that had that book copy and pasted in it originated from Kaylee's moderator, Crash Out PI. You see that right there in the blue?
Damn.
It's
Damn.
not us doing this to Gabby. It's her own people.
Wait a second. I thought Kaylee fell out with Gabby. So why is her people? Well, I guess if they fell out, that was their intention to get this book out to everybody. But why would she be sending it to Kaylee's people if they had fell out? Just wondering.
Your own people. That's all I wanted to show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It is wild. See,
I have a question for Feisty.
Feisty, Mrs. Homie has a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did she get permission for Gabby to put her name in her book?
No, ma'am. She actually received a cease and desist back in July and was told not to put my name in that book.
The pamphlet. Let's just make sure we get it right. The pamphlet.
The pamphlet.
And Gabby has thrown quite a bit of names in this pamphlet.
Correct.
Quite a bit of names have been thrown in there, which is downright ridiculous. But Feisty, you know as well as everybody else in the community that Gabby loves to send things out.
Sure
She
does.
just loves it. And but she
See, Gabby, this is why we say that you want the attention, good or bad, because you send things out to absolutely everybody knowing it's going to come over here. You know that. If you didn't want it out, you wouldn't send it to anybody. And it seems like you keep sending it to the same people that you know that's been verified to send it to us. To Feisty, the person that you got an RO on. You don't find that strange? I mean, so what else are we supposed to think when you're sending things knowing it's going to get to Feisty? The person that has been harassing you the most, right? Come on.
Collecting money from Florida. You got money.
yeah, I don't even know where me and Mrs. Homie got thrown in the mix of that we scam people out of money for Florida, and I was all like, "Wait a minute, what are you talking about?"
Yeah, I didn't ask for anybody to give me money for Florida. My community came together and said, you're going to take it anyway, but I'm still being called a scammer. I got a call from my deputy clerk today at my courthouse. They've received over 300 phone calls from 8 o'clock this morning until that office closed today.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody called down there wanting to get a call back with a fax number because they wanted to send a packet of information down there to the courthouse pertaining to me. These people, they don't have
That's
any
ridiculous.
boundaries whatsoever at all. At all.
And I want to make this very clear. Feisty is not lying here. She didn't listen. When Pink decided to do a fundraiser for them, she did it because she thought that this was not right, that it was unfair, that this is happening again, right? Feisty was unsure about it. That at first she was uncomfortable with it. But because people wanted to do this for her, wanted to do this to help. And you know what? The fact that people have been going to her and to a bunch of other people that had nothing to do with it, like Mexican Homie said, saying that they're scammers, is a fucking joke. A joke. Feisty has offered back that money. Anybody who wanted a refund, 0 people wanted it. They said, you know what, even if there's money left over or whatever the case is, keep it for yourself. Because again, that's what a community looks like. We help each other. And everybody wanted to help. So I don't think anybody should be getting shit for it.
They did call me and inform me that someone attempted to send a packet down there today. They did not accept the paperwork. I have received the phone number and I'm waiting on the voicemail. Everything is being taken care of and we just have to sit back and watch. We've been watching this long.
Yep.
We've been watching this long. Thank
You're
you,
like
homie.
You're welcome. You have a blessed evening. And Feisty's right. I want people to understand that it's a process. The legal system, it's a process. Things do not happen overnight. But we're taking the necessary steps. We're putting in a lot of work behind the scenes that people don't see. We're putting in a lot of work behind the scenes. And it's a process, everybody. I'm being honest with you. Things do not happen overnight. It's not how the legal system works.
And I want to add this in here because I have had people come to me and say that they do not that they don't like it. Maybe they feel left out. Maybe they just feel like they should know that we should share everything that we receive and all of that. I just want to say that I understand that it gets frustrating if people, if other creators, kind of say like, maybe hint that they know some things or say, okay, how can I word this without saying too much? Like those type of things. But please understand that there are some things that can't be shared because things are going on the back end. And it's not to keep things from you guys. It's basically so that way people don't show their hand. If it's something that could help this situation, we're not going to say anything. If it's something that could jeopardize the things that are going on, we're not going to say anything. And you guys know everything always comes out in the end. And I've said this on a live on TikTok. I'm not a tea channel. I don't bring the tea, right? I'm just a commentary opinion based channel. Okay. I'm a call out channel. Now, will I have things that I can bring to you guys? Yes, but I pick and choose what I think is appropriate to share. There are many things that I get that I choose not to share because one, I know somebody else will. And I don't feel the need to share everything that I have. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of things that should not be shared, especially when it has to do with C. Just for his privacy. So I understand. Everybody wants to know everything, but just understand that there's a reason. There's a reason why everything's not shared.
But consequences are coming. Let's do it. Chapter 11 of the Book of Lies.
The book of
The
lies.
deeper I went into this fight, the more I started to see the bigger picture. At first, I thought maybe it was just me, that CPS had made a mistake, that TikTok noise had clouded their judgment, that once the truth was clear, everything would go back to normal. But the longer I lived in it, the clearer it became. This wasn't just about me. The system itself was broken. I sat in parenting classes and heard stories from other parents. Why are you sharing stories that other people shared in confidentiality, Gabby?
But Gabby, you think they just take our word for it? No. That CPS case was opened because of you. If they came in and they investigated everything and they found nothing, they would not be in your life still. That's what you're not understanding. So yes, it is you, Gabby. It absolutely is. It's not the calls. It's not people's words. That is just what got their attention. Now everything is on you. You are the only one. You and Aaron are the only one that can get yourself out of this mess by changing the things that you're doing. But you're not doing that because you don't think you're doing anything wrong. Now, in your delusional mind, you think that this is an attack against you. I mean, really? It's an attack against your parenting, against your behavior, to show you that things are not right. I don't understand what you don't get by that. Even CPS is telling you, and you're not listening. How? I don't understand. I don't understand how somebody can hear all of these things, not just from TikTok, people in your real life, CPS, the judge, and yet you still blame everybody else. Still. They have to do an investigation. And clearly, that investigation showed that you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
That's against. That is against so many things. If there's another Spread Love account, get her out of here. Moderators, be on the lookout for that Spread Love account. Gabby, if you're sharing other people's stories in this pamphlet, you're going to find yourself in big trouble. I sat in parenting classes and heard stories from other parents, stories of children removed for reasons that made no sense, of caseworkers who never returned calls, of families torn apart without evidence. Some of those parents had made mistakes, sure, but many were like me, caught in a system that acted first and asked questions later. I started paying attention to the patterns. Caseworkers who didn't recall when asked direct questions.
Wow.
Reports filled with half-truths and outright lies. Judges forced to sift through piles of accusations while the real truth got buried under paperwork. CPS wasn't just protecting children, it was protecting itself. And then there was TikTok. The bullies online weren't just trolls anymore. They had become players in the system. Their phone calls fueled investigations. Their lies turned into paperwork. Their harassment gave CPS an excuse to keep their hooks in me.
Well, you know what's really strange is that in that paperwork, it says that most of those TikTok phone calls were unfounded. So all of this, Gabby, it's all because of TikTok. That's thrown out the window. It's thrown out the window because the bottom line is things that we think are not right, which are morally not right. CPS doesn't look at it that way. And a lot of the phone calls were unfounded. Now, unfounded could just mean they don't have enough evidence for it. But it says that in the paperwork. So what do you have to say now, Gabby? Because this isn't just about TikTok. But you know that, and you will still blame it on TikTok.
It was like the two worlds, social media and government, had merged into one weapon aimed at families like mine. I couldn't stop thinking about how many parents didn't have what I had. A printer, screenshots, a lawyer willing to fight. How many children were still sitting in foster homes, scared and confused because their parents didn't have the tools to defend themselves? The thought haunted me.
Yeah, I'm sure
the
it
truth
did.
was, CPS had more power than any parent could fight on their own. And when that power was influenced by lies, gossip, and social media mobs, it became dangerous.
Then you would think that you would be on your best fucking behavior, Gabby. You would think you would be walking around like Mother Teresa. But instead, you're up here actively trying to get pregnant. Don't you think that that shows CPS that you, ma'am, are not good at making life choices? That is being irresponsible while your son is, his fate is up in the air? No? I didn't think so.
I realized I wasn't just fighting for Cameron anymore. I was fighting for every parent who had ever been silenced. Every child who had ever been ripped away without cause. Every family who had ever been destroyed by a system that was supposed to protect them.
Oh, there we go again. Being the martyr, right? Just like when you were telling your story about being bullied, you were doing it for all the people who have been cyber harassed, who's been bullied. You were being their voice, right? You were advocating. So now you're advocating for this, right? No, you took this opportunity to make it into a book. You took this opportunity to use it for financial gain. That's what you did. We see you.
My case was just one story, but it was a window into something much bigger, something that needed to be exposed. Gabby, are you going to expose the system? I know she didn't write all that.
Fuck
I know
no,
she
she
didn't write
didn't.
out that. Chat GPT? Chat Jipita? I call it Chat Jipita.
Chat GPT.
You're going to expose the system? That's a bad move on your part. That's a very bad move on your part. Do you think DCFS and CPS, you think they're going to take it lightly when this pamphlet gets...
But that's the problem. That's how delusional she is. That is how that she thinks that she can say all of this stuff about CPS. And what? Win something? What are you going to do? Sue CPS? Gabby. The fact that you can say all of this about CPS. And do I think they fail a lot? Yes. Do I think that it needs to be tore down and rebuild from scratch? Absolutely. Do I think that they're failing your son? Absolutely. But this shit, with you completely lying on them, it's not going to go very well. Love that for you, though. But you know who I don't love that for? Your son. Because that is the person. That is the little boy who is going to get the bad end of the deal.
When it's in their hands, they got it? Oh, I didn't see the comments. I was reading this pamphlet. Oh, Gabby, you're in for a rude awakening. If they have this pamphlet already, you're in big trouble.
They do.
You are in big trouble.
And that's the thing, Gabby, is that you have to know that everything that gets sent out is going to get back to CPS. You have to know that. If there's so many phone calls going into CPS for your behavior on the internet, things like this, especially you saying the things that you're saying about CPS, you know it's getting to them.
That's wild. Ooh. And in this entire book, pamphlet, excuse me, you continue to exploit Cameron. This whole entire book is to exploit Cameron. Somebody asked, Hold on. Is this her second one? And it was published by her, or it was leaked. This book was leaked out. This is supposedly the new pamphlet. Somebody said it's a brochure. It's like a little baby magazine. There's a lot of interesting chapters in this thing. Chapter 12, content over truth. Chapter 12, content over truth. If CPS was a system trying to control me, TikTok was the fuel keeping the fire burning.
Wow.
The day Cameron was sheltered, I didn't just lose my son for a moment. I lost my privacy, my dignity, and my voice.
Girl, you put your whole life on the internet. You don't want privacy. If you wanted privacy, you would have got off this app and stayed off this app and not share all of this shit to fucking everybody. Get the fuck out of here.
Before I even knew the details of what was happening, strangers online had already decided the story for me.
Decided the story.
Creators
Oh
went
my
live
gosh.
celebrating like they had won.
What?
Said CPS had finally stepped in. They told their audiences that Cameron was safer without me. They twisted the words safety plan into proof that I was a bad mom.
How can you? Oh my! First of all, Gabby, this whole fucking community was up in fucking arms about that. There were people in tears because you decided that TikTok was more important than your son and he got taken. Nobody celebrated that. You're fucking gross for even saying that. And how the fuck can we twist any words from the safety plan when the safety plan was shown? Shown. Reading it word by word of what it said. This absolutely pisses me off. And you know what, Gabby? I am fucking here for it. I am here for when you get in fucking trouble. I am here for you and your accountability to all of this because you won't fucking take it. So it's going to have to be fucking handed to you.
Ignoring the fact that the plan was voluntary and based on lies. Well, in this pamphlet, Gabby, in this pamphlet that I'm holding in my hands,
Gabby, once you go to court and a judge signs off on it, it's not voluntary anymore, ma'am. As soon as it gets to court, it is not voluntary. Now you don't have a fucking choice.
it was not voluntary. Because the moment you have to put your signature on the safety plan,
Exactly.
it's not voluntary. You signed that safety plan. Ain't nothing voluntary about it. You signed for it. That means nothing voluntary about that safety plan. You understand?
No, she don't.
Let's continue. Let me continue with this. They didn't mention that the judge dismissed the hearing. They didn't mention that CPS couldn't answer the simplest questions in court. They didn't mention the evidence I had shown.
If it was dismissed, Gabby, you wouldn't have an open CPS case.
Their allegations were false. No, those details didn't go viral. What went viral were the lies. What lies? What lies?
Exactly. What
And
lies?
before you think you have went viral, Gabby, you have never gone viral.
No.
Ever. You know the majority of the people that ever join your live streams are there to watch you crash out.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Facts.
everybody knows what to expect from you, Gabby.
Facts.
The majority of the people in there are there to watch you crash out. They're not there to support you. That's truth and facts, 100%. You're not famous, you're infamous. You're not viral, you're never going to go viral.
Nope.
Every video, every live, every stitch of my name was like another knife. They didn't care about Cameron, not really. They only cared about likes, follows, and gifts. Interesting.
That is interesting.
Because when we hold live stream,
This is coming from a fucking person who literally has monetized off her son, who uses not only her son, but her dog for sympathy, support, and financial gain. And you want to know what, Gabby? I don't give a fuck who has their gifts on. I don't give a fuck who gets super chats talking about you. I don't care. I really don't. And I know a lot of the awareness people, they don't even have their gifts on when they're streaming you or talking about you. But you like to use that, don't you? It's funny because you say we don't care about your son, but we're the only fucking voices for him. We are the only one speaking up for him because his mother can't. You you sit here and say that you love him and you're not showing it. Your actions show differently. And that's all we have to go off of is your own actions.
the majority of everybody has their gifts off. The majority of everybody has their gifts off. So you can skip us with that?
Mm-hmm.
You can skip us with that nonsense? Because we don't do it for new followers. We don't do it for this. We don't do it for the likes. What we do is to let people know of how you have exploited a little boy for financial gain, for clicks and views. That's what you do, Gabby.
It's exactly what she does. But not only that, people talk about her also so that way other people do not fall into her fucking lies, get fucking scammed. There's a lady that I seen on here, and you know what? I'll put a screenshot up right here. She helped donate to Gabby. She sure fucking did. And when all this came out and she ended up dropping that RO, that lady seen it. That lady seen that this was all just a fucking show. She genuinely supported her. Then you know what happened? Gabby blocked her. Sure did. After she sent her a lot of money. What about that, Gabby?
That's what you do. We don't do that. My pain became their entertainment. My son's trauma became their storyline. And the more outrageous the lie, the bigger their audience grew. I watched people I had never met talk about me like they were experts on my life. They speculated about my parenting, my mental health,
It's not speculating when we can see you. We can see you. We watch what you do. So, like, you have literally posted everything and you do it willingly. Like, you have no shame in it. That's why we have the opinions we do.
marriage. Some even made up stories, complete with fake screenshots to convince others I was dangerous.
No, you do that.
Nobody's ever made up a screenshot because you put everything on the internet.
Exactly.
Nobody's ever made up a screenshot, and everybody that I watched. And what marriage are you talking about?
We don't have to make up screenshots. You put everything out there. There's nothing to make up. We don't have to lie about you, Gabby. You're bad enough.
Gabby? Gabriella? What marriage? Because it says right here. I watched people I had never met talk about me like they were experts on my life. They speculated about my parenting, my mental health, my marriage. What marriage? Huh? What marriage? We know she didn't write it.
Fuck no, she didn't write that shit.
We know ChatGPT did it. It was surreal, like watching a movie where the villain was me, but the script was written by people who had never been in my home, never seen the love between me and Cameron, never cared about.
Girl, we were in your home every single fucking day. on a fucking screen. Were we physically there? No, we didn't have to be because you showed it. You showed everything, even things that should not have been showed. What love? Because, in my opinion, honestly, and this is no joke, it does not seem like you have a motherly instinct. I don't see no connection there with you and your son. I don't ever see you just love on that little boy. Tell him you're proud. Just stop and pay attention to him. You don't even pay attention enough to listen when he is talking. People in your chat try to understand him more than you do. People in your chat know how he says things before you do. I know I have. I have listened over and over again trying to understand what your son was saying. Because somebody needs to pay attention to him because you fucking don't. You and that scumbag of a father he has.
The truth. And the worst part, CPS listened. The more calls TikTok made, the more CPS knocked on my door. The line between harassment and concern blurred until there was no line at all. TikTok had become my second courtroom, but this one had no judge, no rules, no evidence, only opinions. And in that courtroom, truth didn't matter.
You hear what you said, Gabby? Opinions. Opinions. You're absolutely fucking right. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we have fucking morals. I'm sorry that we care that a little boy is completely being neglected because of TikTok. My bad.
Only content did. Gabby, everything that has been shown about you is off your live streams.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that has been shown about you is what you put out on those TikTok live streams. That's what you put out. When you put out medical records, you put out all this crazy stuff that you want people to screenshot and do all that, you put it out. Nobody's fabricating anything. Nobody's making things up. You did it.
And only you.
You put that out.
With the help of Aaron.
Chapter 13, breaking point. Let's see which one.
So I am going to stop it here because I know my storage has been filling up pretty quickly. So I don't think there's much more to go after this. So I am going to put this video out and then I'm going to finish up the video in the next one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I do want to say that if you guys want me to, that's up to you. If you want me to, I can get the whole book and go over it or even just read it. If you would like. I know a lot of people are doing that right now, so I might not even have to. But if you also want me to go over her other book or idea, the book that she had that she didn't release, the one that was basically, I'm assuming, was going to be the original book, I could read that one. We could do that too. So if you have any other ideas of videos that you want me to do, please let me know. You can send it to my Instagram, which I'll put up here on the screen, or you can send it to my email, or on TikTok, either way. So I'm going to get to editing this video and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.